Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a thrilling discussion on finance and demographics. The speaker is the insightful geopolitical expert Peter Zeihan. Today we're unraveling the complex relationship between age, wealth accumulation, and the global economy. Discover the powerful financial turning point that occurs at age 50 and how it shapes our financial destinies. We'll also dive into the fascinating history of demographic structures and how post-World War II globalization has transformed them, leading to new challenges and opportunities. Join us as we discuss the immense impact of the baby boomer generation, their mass retirement, and the potential consequences on inflation and the cost of capital. Don't miss this captivating conversation with Peter Zeihan as we shed light on these crucial financial and demographic shifts.
Let's talk finance. Yeah, don't call your broker yet, folks. We got a lot more to do. This is net worth by decade of age bracket. As you get older, you get better at your job, you get raises, your income goes up. But the real magic happens when you turn 50. Because when you turn 50, your single biggest expense, your last kid, leaves home and becomes someone else's problem. And the money that you save because your kid is now gone, yeah, I see people over there high-fiving because you just turned 50 and the last one's gone, yep. The money that you save because your last kid is gone, you put towards your second biggest expense, which is your house. And on average, you will have paid that down by the time you're 55. So age 55 to 65, your expenses are under control, your income is continuing to rise, this is the wealthiest you will ever be. And the money that you invest to prepare for your retirement in that 10-year age bracket, that is what it's all about. That is 70% of global private capital. That is literally the money that makes the world move. And normally, this doesn't matter at all, because normally we have a demographic structure that looks like this. You're looking at a standard pyramid. Children at the bottom, young adults, mature adults, retirees at the top, men on one side, women on the other. This is a nearly pre-industrial structure. This is Nigeria. And you'll notice that that thin sliver at the top, that's 65, is tiny. Doesn't really matter what they do. And then there's more people age 64 below that, and 63 below that. And we've more or less had some version of this demographic now for 4,000 years of recorded history. Until 1945. Because in 1945, the Americans changed the way the world worked. It used to be that if you had iron ore and coal and oil and food, you could make something of yourself. You could expand into empire. But if you lacked one of those four things, you were probably a colony. But the empires died in World War II. And the Americans created this thing we know as globalization. We used our Navy to patrol the seas so that anyone could go anywhere at any time and interface with any economic partner. And suddenly you didn't need those four things. You only needed one of them. And you could trade for the other three. And we all started to industrialize together. Not from the same starting point, not at the same pace, but for the first time, all of humanity was on the same road. And that changed national economics. Because as you industrialize, people move off the farm and into the cities to take industrial jobs, which means personal economics changed. Because when you live on the farm, kids are free labor. You have as many as you can put up with. But when you live in an urban condo, kids are not free labor. They're very expensive, very dirty, very loud, very annoying pieces of mobile furniture. And adults are not stupid, so we had fewer of them. And 75 years on, this is what our demographics look like today. The baby boomers are the largest generation we've ever had. On average, they turn 65 this quarter. We are there. We've always known that this was coming since the 1960s. Is everyone ready? Yeah. Think about what this means for finance. Single largest financial population we've ever had is moving into mass retirement. When you retire, you liquidate your stocks and your bonds, you go into T-bills and cash. Because if there's a currency crisis or a market crash, you lose everything. You no longer have the income to recover. You have to go conservative. This is perfectly normal. And it has never mattered until now. Because now the largest generation ever is liquidating everything all at the same time. We have always known between January of last year and December of next year that the cost of capital in the United States, because of just this factor, has to go up by at least a factor of 5. Independent of anything the Federal Reserve does. The fact that there's an economic turning and an inflation fight, that's just bad timing. They're also the single largest worker group we've ever had, and on average, they retire right now. There's a lot of things going on with inflation. I'm not going to try to talk you out of labor inflation, food inflation or energy inflation. These are real things, they matter. But labor inflation is by far the biggest one.
As we wrap up this enthralling conversation with the brilliant Peter Zeihan, we hope you've gained valuable insights to the intricate relationships between finance, demographics, and the global economy. From the remarkable financial turning point at age 50 to the powerful influence of the baby boomer generation, our discussion has shed light on the importance of understanding these complex dynamics. As we face the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing world, it's essential to be prepared and adapt accordingly. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey, and stay tuned for more thought-provoking discussions like this one.